In 1990, archaeologists excavated an eerie 19th century grave in Griswold, Connecticut, in which the remains were arranged to form a skull and crossbones. This rather odd burial was seen as an indication that the middle-aged man interred in the plot was thought to be a vampire. This is a likely result of him dying from tuberculosis, or consumption as it was then known. The man died amid the mass hysteria event that became known as the Great New England Vampire Panic. The episode led to a local folkloric belief that rearranging skeletal remains would prevent a suspected vampire from returning to life. For decades, the Connecticut Vampire was known only as JB55, which was spelled out on the coffin's brass tacks, describing the person's initials and age at death. In 2019, however, researchers used genealogical DNA methods to identify JB55 as John Barber, who died in the 1830s. A few months ago, Parabon Nanolabs and the Armed Forces DNA Identification Laboratory unveiled a forensic reconstruction of Barber's face. Virginia Commonwealth University researchers contributed to the project by providing a 3D digital model of Barber's skull that helped make the digital reconstruction possible. The Virtual Curation Library at the School of World Studies at VCU's College of Humanities and Sciences has a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Museum of Health and Medicine, where Barber's remains are held, to 3D scan injuries and pathologies of human remains, some related to conflict during the American Civil War and up to World War I, and others representing interesting cases in the museum's research collection. Bernard Means, PhD, Assistant Professor of Anthropology and Director of the Virtual Curation Lab, said, "3D scanning allows these remains to be shared digitally, including a special collection the VCL maintains through Sketchfab. We are assisted in this effort by forensic anthropologist Terry Simmons-Earhart, who is a noted expert in digital applications to recording and sharing forensic case information, both of a historic nature and more recent forensic cases. 3D scanning the JB55 skull fit directly within this shared mission." In the Virtual Curation Lab, Means used a laser 3D scanner and a structured light scanner to capture the skull, while Simmons-Earhart used photogrammetric software to assemble a 3D digital model. Simmons-Earhart said, "This case allowed us to examine the geometric detail and degree of photorealism that can be captured with 3D surface scanning and photogrammetry, and to demonstrate a 3D workflow for both forensic and historical facial approximation casework." VCU students Maddie Martin and Emily Pitts, both sophomore anthropology majors, work in the Virtual Curation Lab and contributed to the project by painting 3D replicas of the skull. Martin's replica is being provided to the National Museum of Health and Medicine for teaching and public outreach, while Pitts' replica will stay at VCU for similar purposes. Martin said, "It was a challenge and took me about a month to complete, but it was fascinating to learn about and be involved with such interesting remains." Pitts revealed that she was particularly interested in working on the project because of the era's unusual burial practices for people accused of being vampires. She said, "Often methods used in these burial practices give archaeologists insight into existing belief systems and details surrounding the deceased themselves." JB55 is a good reflection of the paranoia that his society had revolving around sickness and minority actions. A lot of the time people were accused of being vampires due to behaviours that were labelled strange. In JB55's case, archaeologists attribute his death and subsequent vampire burial to tuberculosis. She said the disturbance of JB55's remains was an act carried out to stop the alleged vampire from returning from the dead. Martin added that the project and her work in the Virtual Curation Lab had taught her about the importance of 3D models and replicas for educating the public. Being able to hold and touch an object or manipulate a 3D scan is invaluable in teaching about and engaging people with history and archaeology, she said. "I hope to be involved in this more in my future career." During the panic, bodies were exhumed and internal organs ritually burned to stop the vampire from attacking the local population and to prevent the spread of the disease. Notable cases attracted national media attention, such as those of Mercy Brown of Rhode Island and Frederick Ransom in Vermont. Mercy Brown died in January 1892, aged 19. Villagers, a local doctor and a journalist, embarked on the macabre exhumation of bodies on March 17, 1892. Two were expectedly in advanced stages of decomposition, but Mercy's body was in a surprising state of preservation. This was taken as a sign that the young woman was of the undead. Some of her organs were burned and the ashes were mixed with water to make a supposed healing tonic that was administered to treat sickness and exorcise the undead curse. It is rumoured that Dracula author Bram Stoker was aware of the Mercy Brown case and based his character of Lucy Westenra on her. She was also referred to by H.P. Lovecraft in his The Shunned House. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly subscribe. And you can also support the channel on Subscribestar via the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.